The head of my nursery school in Wimbledon was a religious woman of a certain kind. She was very strict, and she liked nothing better than to tell us gory stories about martyrs, Christians being fed to the lions, soldiers dying gruesome deaths in battle for the faith, and the like. I suppose today she wouldn't be allowed to plant such thoughts in tender minds. Be that as it may, I was probably not the only child to grow up thinking martyrs were warriors belonging to ancient history, that they had been consigned to the earliest days of the church. Well, today, 4th of May, we're challenged to think again, because the church commemorates English saints and martyrs of the Reformation era. This day is set aside to remember all who gave their lives in the religious conflicts from the 14th to the 17th centuries, mainly the 16th, the period known as the Reformation era. During those turbulent times, scores of Christian men and women suffered and many died for upholding the faith as they understood it, standing for the truth of the gospel as they had received it. At the heart of the conflict were groups of people who believed that they and they alone were keepers of the truth, and that others were either in a state of ignorance or heretics. Today, although ecumenical progress is painfully slow, Christian churches have drawn closer together in faith and worship, and it's possible to recognize the good and evil on all sides of the Reformation conflict. One of the most moving experiences of my own ministry was to dedicate, with the then Roman Catholic Bishop of Arundel and Brighton, a memorial to the Woodmancote martyrs, Thomas Hartland and James Oswald. They were Protestants in Sussex who were burnt at the stake for insisting on reading the Bible in English rather than Latin during the time of persecution under Queen Mary. I've quoted on more than one occasion some words of the African-American writer Maya Angelou, who wrote, "History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived, but if faced with courage, need not be lived again." The thrust of the ecumenical movement in the 20th century and our own has been to learn to see Christians of other traditions not as strangers, but rather to trust one another as friends. As Maya Angelou advocated, we're to try to re-educate our memories, to look at the past with fresh eyes and perhaps a different motivation. How far do our prejudices fit the facts? And what might historical events look like through the eyes of others who've inherited a different version of that same history? The English martyrs who we commemorate today, however separated they may have been from each other on earth, all died for the one faith. Although their personal convictions were so strong that they were prepared to die for them, they were all trying in their own way to follow Jesus Christ. Understood in that way, they all belong to us, because they witness to Christ, the Lord of all, just as we try to do. The collect or special prayer appointed for today recalls that God, when the church was torn apart by the ravages of sin, raised up men and women in this land who witnessed to their faith with courage and constancy. It goes on to pray for peace in the church of today and pleads that those who have been divided in their earthly lives may be united in heaven and share the vision of God's glory. It is a very moving prayer, to which I would want to add this one. Lord, give us grace and strength to declare the faith that we have received in all that we say and all that we do, for the sake of Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.